Hello, welcome to Hands-on Art at Home. My name's Janet and I would love to share a story with you and a painting activity. Today's story is called The Crunching Munching Caterpillar. It was written by Sheridan Cain and illustrated by somebody with the most wonderful name. His name is Jack Tickle. Isn't that cool? Are you ready for our story today? Let's get going. Caterpillar, here he is. Oh, my goodness, look at him. He's got green stripes and red spots, and he looks very, very busy. He's mostly yellow so that he blends in with his background and he can hide amongst the leaves. Well now, this caterpillar was always hungry. For weeks he crunched and munched his way through the fresh, juicy leaves of a blackberry bush. Do you like blackberries? You could make blackberry jam or blackberry jelly. One day, Caterpillar was just about to crunch into another leaf when... Who's this coming from the side? Buzz! Can you make the noise of a busy bumblebee? Well, this bumblebee landed right beside him. Wow, said Caterpillar. How did you get here? Simple, said Bumblebee. I flew. I have wings. Look, and he's got lots of wings. And they're transparent, you can only just see them. Oh, I'd love some of those, said Caterpillar. Well, Bumblebee flew up into the air, and he buzzed busily from flower to flower. He's done a loop-the-loop. He's gone up and down and round and round. Can you make those shapes in the air with your fingers? Can you go up and down and round, a big loop-the-loop? Lots of fun. Be great to be a bumblebee, wouldn't it? Oh, I'd love to fly like that, said Caterpillar. But you can't, said Bumblebee. I've got wings and you've got legs. Your legs are for walking. Oh, I guess so, sighed Caterpillar. Bumblebee flew off to the next bush. There he goes, buzz, into the distance. While watching Bumblebee fly had made Caterpillar very hungry. So he crunched and he munched away until it was time for bed. Look at him. Oh, he's had a very big dinner. The caterpillar woke the next morning to the sound of twittering. Birds swooped and soared in the early morning light. Can you swoop and soar like a bird? Oh, wow, whoosh. Can you imagine having two wings? Can you make wings with your hands and make them flap? Flap off into this direction and off into the other corner. Amazing what you can do with your hands. Caterpillar was just about to start his breakfast. Here he is, he's opening his mouth lovely and wide. There's a wonderful fresh juicy leaf right there. When Sparrow landed beside him. I'd love to fly up in the air like that, said Caterpillar. But you can't, said Sparrow. You need to be as light as a dandelion clock that floats on the breeze. Have you ever picked a dandelion clock and blown and tried to count the time and then seen all the seeds floating off into the distance? I bet you have. I'm afraid you're too fat to fly, and your legs are for walking. Oh, well, I suppose so, said Caterpillar, a little bit glumly. Well, Caterpillar, carried on, crunching and munching. You can see all the leaves that he's already eaten here. Oh my goodness. All day he crunched and munched until the light began to dim. And then he wrapped a leaf right around himself like a sleeping bag. He wrapped himself round and round, nice and snug. He was just about to go to sleep because he was all cosy and warm when a butterfly landed gracefully beside him on the twig. Oh, I wish I could fly like you, sighed Caterpillar. But I'm too fat and I have legs instead of wings. Well, Butterfly smiled a secret, knowing smile. Who knows, she said. Perhaps one day you will fly light as a feather, just like me. But now, little Caterpillar, you should go to sleep. You look very tired. Well, Butterfly was right. Caterpillar went fast asleep. In fact, he fell into a deep, deep sleep as Butterfly flew off into the night sky. The moon out and everything. In fact, Caterpillar slept all through the winter. There he is. He's tucked away on his little branch, and there's snow all around him. Oh, while he was asleep, his mind was filled with dreams. There he is, off in his dream cloud. Well, he dreamed that he had wings, and he soared up into the blue sky. Can you count how many wings he has? There's rather a lot. They start over here, and they carry on along his body. And then he'd have some sets on the other side to go with this one. So he's got 4 sets of wings on this side and 4 on the other side. That's 8 wings. Goodness me. He dreamed that he was a dandelion clock floating on the breeze. He dreamed that he was light as a feather, drifting towards the sun. Look, he's lying on his back as he's floating. He actually looks just like the shape of a feather. Well, with all that dreaming, Caterpillar slept for a very long time. And when he finally woke up, it was springtime. Look, the sun's just coming up. The leaves have all changed colour. He was stiff from his long sleep. But strangely, he didn't feel very hungry. He had a big stretch. Can you stretch when you wake up from your sleep? You stretch up and you stretch out. Oh my goodness. He stretched and he stretched until a breeze lifted him into the air. Whatever is happening? Well, Caterpillar was no longer short and plump. He had wings. Great, big, wonderful butterfly wings. Just look at him now. Do you notice that he still kept all the same colours? He's still yellow. He's still got blue and green stripes and red spots. So it's definitely him. And he's definitely a butterfly. Wow, said young Butterfly. I'm flying. I'm really flying. So that just goes to show that if you dream big, your dreams could come true. Isn't that marvellous? Such a lovely story. Now then, as you know by now, after every story we have a painting activity. And today's going to be just the same. So you're going to need some paints. Now you're going to need all the colours from the story. So the caterpillar was yellow and he had blue and green stripes, and he had red spots. We could even use a little bit of purple for his little feet. He had lots of little feet. Now, if we're using paints, we're probably going to need a brush. And as always, the most important piece of equipment for a hands-on art activity is your hands and a cloth to clean them with as we go along. I'm going to put a little reminder upon the screen so that you know what you need to go and collect for today's activity. Off you go now. I'll see you in a little minute. Welcome back. Do you have everything that you need ready for your painting activity? Let's have a little look. We need our paints on a palette. I always use a paper palette because it's just easy to get rid of afterwards. We're going to need some paint brushes. I've got 2 ready here. And possibly a water pot to clean your brushes as you go along. Definitely a cloth for cleaning your hands. I always need one of those. And these. So, the first thing I thought we'd start with today would be to paint the caterpillar. Now, for the caterpillar, all you really need is your thumb. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to dip my thumb into the yellow paint. So that he's got a lovely big face. And then I'm going to carry on. I'm going to make some slightly smaller spots for the segments of his body. Here we go. Maybe you could count along with me. So I've made a lovely big face. And then there's 1, 2, 3. Of course, I have to keep dipping my thumb in the paint because it's not like a pencil or a pen. It runs out of colour very quickly. Here we go. Maybe you could have a little wiggle of it going up a little bit and then down again. How many circles have I made on there? How many spots? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, he did eat rather a lot in that video, didn't he, in the story? Now, in the story, he had lots of little legs. So I'm going to get some purple paint, because I forgot that one, to make his little legs. And to make his little legs, I'm going to use my little finger. So I'm going to put it in the purple paint, and I'm going to give him 2 legs on each of the segments of his body. Ooh. Hearty bear. Hearty always wants to get stuck into our activities, don't you, young man? Yes, he does. So there we are. There is our lovely caterpillar with all of his legs, and then he needs some stripes, doesn't he? Well, he had blue and green. So I'm going to start with the blue. I'm going to pop them on the top like this, using a paintbrush for a change. Goodness me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue stripes to go on his 6 body segments. And then there was also a bit of green on there. I'm just going to add a little daub of green onto each of those stripes. There they are. Goodness me. And he actually had green eyes. Should we do a quick little check? Always good to have a look at the reference, have another little look at the book to just make sure. There we are. But of course, you could make up a completely new caterpillar with all your own colours. He could have a blue body with yellow feet if you like. There's no rules in art. That's the wonderful thing about it. So I'm going to give him 2 lovely big eyes. There we are, looking out at us. There we are. And then he had two rosy cheeks. So we can actually use the other end of the brush to put the spots on for his rosy cheeks. There we are. And then when that's dried off a little bit, then I could put a smile on there. I won't forget that. Maybe you could remind me later. So he started off as a caterpillar, but by the end of the story, he was a butterfly. Oh my word. Well, to make a butterfly, instead of using our thumb, we're actually going to use both of our hands, join them over like this, and then press them onto the paper. So, mostly yellow. Let's have a little look at the butterfly in the story and see what he looked like. Just have a quick little check. So he is mostly yellow, and then he's got a lovely red spot on his wings, and then he's got the blue across the top and green stripes. Let's see if we can do that. So the first thing to do is lots of yellow all over my hand, and as you know, it takes a little while to do that because I've got big grown-up hands. Here we are. Lots and lots of yellow. We need to put plenty on because we don't want it to dry out while we put the other details on here. Oops. There we are. And then there was blue across the top and green in the middle. So what I can do is I can put the green on with my brush, like that, and then I can just dip the ends of my fingers into the blue paint, no problem at all. And then of course we can't forget the lovely red spot right in the middle. Here I go with dipping the ends of my fingers into the blue. Are we ready? And I'm going to put in just here, and I have to squish really hard, really hard. Whoops, and hold the paper down. And of course, because I'm a grown-up, the bit in the middle is missing. Silly me. I'm going to have to paint that bit in, because grown-up hands go in here. So when you press them onto the paper, it doesn't quite reach. Oh my goodness, there's lots of mess there. So let's just fill that in. There's our lovely red spot on our butterfly on this wing. Now we need to do the other wing on the other side. So lots more yellow paint. Oh goodness me, here we are. Actually, it doesn't show up very well on my hand, but it is there, I promise. Oh, you saw that because it got printed onto the paper. Here we are. Can't forget his head. Right, and then green stripes on the fingers. Plenty of green paint. And then the best bit, dipping the ends of my fingers into the blue paint. And I'm going to put the red spot on afterwards because we know it doesn't work. Now I'm going to have to twist right round to do this. And what I don't want to do is to put my knees in the paint. That would be silly. I'm going to twist right round, and I'm going to put my other hand on here like this. And I'm going to push it down. Try and make sure that as much of my hand has touched the paper as possible. And then lift it off. Give my hand a good clean. Oh goodness, I've got it back on the other one again. And I want to put a lovely big spot on this side. mess. Well, he needs some eyes. And then he needs some little legs, because butterflies do have legs so that they can land. So we could put some little legs on here. And even some antennae so that he can feel where he's going. There we go. Now, what was it that I asked you to remind me of for later on? It was his smile on the caterpillar, wasn't it? So we pop that on now. That should have dried off a little bit. Just like the one in the story. What do you think? I think you're going to have lots of fun making butterflies and caterpillars today, and I would love to see your paintings. If you could ask your parents to pop them on our Facebook page, or maybe send me a little email so that I can see all your glorious butterflies floating off into the breeze. Shall we have a quick little closer look? There they are. Now, it might be that your parents have noticed that hands-on art is actually open again now for pottery painting, but pottery painting that you do at home. So, for example, instead of doing this painting, or as well as doing this painting, you might like to paint one of our little butterfly characters. You can decorate that up with acrylic paints, or you could get some very special glaze paints from us, which make him go super, super shiny. And I could post that to you. Or you could come into the studio in Old Windsor and collect it for yourself and give me a little wave through the window. That would be just lovely. Well, I hope you have enjoyed today's story. I certainly have. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care now. Bye bye.